me?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened. There was some.
That's all I heard was you say, "Oh no," and then my screen just went massive, and I was like, I don't know what to do now.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, it just froze. You're like halfway through saying something, and you froze. But
When did I get to? I was
you got
waffling.
to okay. So we were talking about the twin cams. You're saying one of them, it kind of leads the other one.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So cam and a half. One cam does all of the work. The other one just gets dragged along with it. So it's on a twin cam. Both cams work in sync. They get pulled evenly and shot evenly. Single cam, one cam gets pulled and the idler wheel rolls round. Cam and a half, one cam gets pulled. Both cams. One cam pulls the other cam. So they're linked together.
Yeah.
But they're not separate cams like on a twin cam.
Okay. All right. So there's basically three. You kind of just divided that into three categories. Is one more efficient than the other generally?
No.
Okay.
I'll get shot for saying that, but no, there isn't. The problem with this, and the problem with a lot of archery, is that there's no independent research done. All of the bold claims by all the manufacturers that my bow is more efficient than yours, or my arrows are better. The only people that have ever tested it are themselves. So of course they're going to make themselves sound better.
Sure. Yeah.
It's kind of like the emissions on cars.
Yeah.
In their factory, it's this. It's like, well, of course it is.
Of course, yeah.
Factory.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I do is I try in my downtime at ArcheryGB, I do run tests on kit.
Yeah.
Not allowed to release a lot of the answers. And a lot of the,
okay.
Sorry about that.
But I guess you found some interesting stuff. But I mean, all right, if we look at top level world class archery archers, compound archers, are most of them shooting a particular type of compound, a twin or a cam and a half, or
no, most bows on the market now are twin cam or cam and a half. Single cam's kind of disappearing.
Okay.
It works. It works really well. But I think it's hard to get speeds that manufacturers want to have a single cam, and it's hard to get the efficiency up there. I can't remember, Matthews did release a statement last year or the year before that they'd made the most efficient bow, and I want to say it's like 93% efficient or something.
Okay.
And mathematically, you can't get higher.
Okay.
So compounds really are at present, science will not allow us to get bows more efficient than they are because they wouldn't work otherwise.
Yeah. I guess Matthews is one of the larger names in the compound bow world, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how it in the world, and then I think it's PSE and then Hoyt, but I might be wrong on those two. They might be the other way around.
Okay. And are they all US based?
Yeah,
they're all US based.
Yeah, there's only really outside the US, the only player that makes what I would class as a top end bow is Win and Win.
Yeah.
Win and Win Black, they kicked off about 6 years ago with some random bows, but I have to admit, like some of our paras are shooting them and they are awesome. Like really, really good bows, well built, adjustable but sensibly adjustable, so you can actually simply set it up and it doesn't come undone every 30 seconds.
Okay.
Which is one of the major adjustments with it. Downside of adjustments.
There are these newer compound, probably not new now, but the latest advancement, if you want to call that, or evolution, is where the compound bow, they're actually really tall and long, whereas before the risers were so much short.
You haven't been shooting for very long, have you? I think that was new in the 70s, maybe the 80s.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's the thing was back then the risers were long and the limbs were long.
Unless it's come back in fashion or something, I don't know.
No, the problem is basically the reason risers went short was because you couldn't machine metal stiff enough in that long size, but machining's better than casting. So they started machining short risers because it was a lot cheaper to machine a short riser than the big riser, and it would be stiff enough to keep the speed.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, unless you want to get into the really highly scientific parts of it, most compound limbs now are irrelevant. They're just decoration.
Really?
The cam is doing most of the work. The limb is doing a bit.
Okay.
And the risers stopping the cams from touching each other. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, the idea behind having the long riser and the short limbs is the limbs are the bit that can move inconsistently because they wobble.
Yes.
So if you make a limb really short and really stiff, and the riser really long and really stiff, you still get the big bow, which is easier to shoot.
Yeah.
And you don't lose any speed because it's still really stiff.
Right. Okay.
Downside of that is it's really heavy.
Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Korea they're not on the world stage as they are with recurve in compound, or am I wrong?
They're getting there.
Are they getting there? Okay, interesting. Until they do get there and start winning all the gold, I mean, which country or countries are kind of controlling at the moment?
So the Americans are. I don't want to say they're the best because they're probably not. But as a nation, there's a lot more compound archers in America because they hunt. Sure. There's also a massive 3D circuit. So 3D animals and things. Yeah. So the baseline score to be good in America is significantly higher than it is anywhere else in the world. Yeah. I can't remember who it was. No, I can't remember who it was. Someone telling me that to be good as a junior, to be classed as good, so not even like the best, to be classed as good, you have to shoot a 590 theta or WA18 to be a good archer. Wow. There's juniors in this country, there might be 4, 5 people have done that. Not to be classed as good. I mean, we class them as world class. Yes, sure. So yeah, I think but I think it's because of the depth of field. They have so many people that can shoot that. Yeah, sure. That you kind of need to. Yeah. I think not just so many, but they're doing a lot more shooting because of the fact that they can hunt and things like that. They're just getting more practicing with a compound and learning how to use it. And it's so whenever I go to the States, I always try and go to the local archery shop because it's just a fascinating experience. But there'll be archery shops with 15, 16, even bigger targets at 18 meters indoor, and they'll have leagues. They'll have clubs that turn up every night. They'll have I think because it's more of it's like we were saying earlier, there's more kids doing it. It's more of a kid-friendly sport. Yeah, and a social thing as well. Yeah, and then you do churn out more good people, and your scores go up. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a 10, 15, 20 year cultural thing as well. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. One or two things we wanted to wrap it up with. Okay. Might be a silly question, but why is a compound called a compound? Does it have anything to do with the fact that the energy is compounded in the shot, or is it that not related at all? No idea. Genuinely don't know. Okay. But then I will admit to not knowing a lot of things that I really should know about what words mean. Not my speciality words, but I just assume that it's because they are compound, they're compact, they're smaller. Right, compound. Yeah, could well be. Other than that, I've got no idea. All right. But we'll go with that. You can edit that bit out and just pretend I went, yes, it's definitely because of this. Which will make you look clever and me look clever. So, okay, good. Yeah, exactly. Okay. 3D printing. Have you dabbled with it, and is there any scope or benefit
that you've used in aids or shooting aids or anything like that you can talk about?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay.
I can't discuss what I do with it, but we use 3D printing to prototype and to make actual adaptations, grips, things like that.
Awesome.
For a para program, it's indispensable. I mean, to be able to, for instance, someone wants to try a finger spacer on a recurve tab, but wants it, 3 mil bigger than their current one. To be able to scan their tab, change the size by 3 mil, print it out, 20 minutes, half an hour later, boom, they've got another tab they can carry on going.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's changed the game.
Brilliant. It really is brilliant.
Pretty much anything you can think of to try and make, you can experiment with it and make it, right?
Yeah. The design skills needed aren't that complicated. I mean, I say that kind of humbly, but it's not. Yeah. It's not that difficult. There's lots of really complicated software out there, and you do need a degree in understanding that software. But there's also free software that you can do the majority in.
Did they invest in a 3D printer at Lillishall?
Yes. So that was actually purchased by the worshipful company of Fletcher's for us. Oh, okay. So they do a lot with para archery, and we approached them to see if they'd fund one for us.
Awesome.
It's not a high end one, but it's good enough for what we want at the moment.
It does the job. All right, cool. Okay, so for you, Kieran, looking ahead, obviously post Corona, coming out a bit more when things get back to normal, whatever normal is. What does the rest of 2020 or 2021 look like for you? And is there anything big on the horizon?
So I'm trying now to work out what order I need to do things in, because previous to Corona, I had 4 or 5 months before the games. So my tinkering time, as it were, was done. I was going to, we'd have in plan all of those setups, all of the arrow setups for all the archers to use, and that would be going to the games. We sort of had that in mind. We knew what we were going to do. We were going to set those. Now I get an extra year to play, so it's trying to work out what data I can get quick to change and do, and everything else. A couple of athletes are going to be trying some new bows as they've got an extra year. They might as well.
So what's the plan with the Olympics? Have they just deferred it 1 year now?
It's a year later.
Okay.
So the Olympics is, I think it's just under a year later, but the Olympics is the same date window, just 2021.
Move back. Yeah. Okay.
So that'd be good. But we've got the Europeans that should have been this year is now next year as well. There's spots available for Tokyo at that. So that's our first priority. Yeah. And then we've got the final qualifying tournament, which will be in the Czech Republic. I think that's about a month or two before the games. So that'll be the last chance to get any spaces.
Yeah. How many archers have you got in the para team going to Tokyo?
Oh, that's the sort of number I should know off my head, but I don't. I'll count. So we've got 2 compound men so far, and we can't get any more. So 2 compound men. That's it.
Oh, that's the limit.
Yep. So we've got 1 recurve woman. We can get 1 more space in that. We've got 1 recurve man, but we can get more space in that. And we've got one compound woman, but we can get 1 more space in that. So we've got 5 going with the potential of those. So recurve women, compound women, and recurve men. They can all get 1 more space each. Not by the same athlete that won the last spot. That has to be done by someone else.
Right.
And then we can get W1 women 1 space and W1 men 1 space.
How does the qualifying work just normal as normal qualifying? They just got to shoot a certain score and it's recorded, and then they go to the next stage, or they have to go to a competition and shoot there?
For the Paralympic, for the country spots at the games, do you mean?
Yeah, for the Paralympic team,
so,
yeah.
So there's to get a spot at the actual Paralympic Games for your country, not for yourself, for your country, you have to come in a certain. So I can't remember what it was. I think it was like top 16 in the world at the World Championships in your category.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a spot. It's not as simple as that. It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's simply how it is.
Yeah.
But then if you don't get that, there's then another chance at your continental qualify. Then it'll be like the top 8 from each category at a European Championship, which would then get a space.
Yeah.
But if any of those 8 have already got spaces, they're not allowed to get another space. So, for instance, if number 1 has a space already and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 don't have, and 8 don't have, that the number 1 space would go to number 9. So it'd be the highest ranked 8 athletes that don't already have a spot.
Okay.
It's all very confusing.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'll just nod my head and say, yeah, I understand. Okay.
Yeah. They're the most complex way of writing down some numbers in the world, the selection documents like that. And then to get onto the team, you have the selection criteria, which is laid out on ArcheryGB's website.
Yeah.
Under team and selection policies. I don't know. I don't read ours.
Okay.
I'm just a technician. I'm not a coach.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Don't expect you to know that, but that's awesome. Kieran, I appreciate your time. We'll wrap it up there. I know you've got the kids probably wanting to run about and
probably eat, I would imagine.
And eat, yeah, of course, yeah, as they do. But yeah, thanks again for your webinars on ArcheryGB and your time here. I do hope that I can meet you face to face one day and you can help set up my bow. I got because of the course I was doing, I thought I couldn't actually find a compound archer who is happy for me to kind of coach them or advise them. So I thought, let me just get my own bow. So I bought an old like Bowtech something. It does the job, but obviously it needs a bit of tweaking. But yeah, it'd be good to maybe get in contact with you and actually meet you one day. You can have a look at it and tweak it up. But other than that, appreciate your work and all the best for the future, and hopefully stay safe in the Corona period and it all gets sorted out very soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks, Kieran. All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.
All right.